The quantum model of reality presents an interesting perspective on how we can influence the world around us. When we are truly present in the moment, open-hearted, and able to sustain an elevated emotion, we begin to broaden the magnetic field around our bodies to a staggering 9 meters wide. This means that we are more energy than matter, more wave than particle, and we can exert a more significant effect on the reality we experience. When we open our hearts, dropping a pebble in water produces a ripple effect. The same goes for a bigger stone, producing a larger ripple. When we can sustain a particular emotional state, dropping the same rock repeatedly, we broadcast a unique signature into the field. Our emotions carry a magnetic charge, and our thoughts carry the information that travels along the wave. When we combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, we begin to produce an effect on matter. The thoughts we think generate the electrical charge in the quantum field, while the feelings we emote produce the magnetic charge in the same field. This means that how we think and feel broadcast an electromagnetic signature that influences every single atom in our lives. The thought sends the signal out, and the feeling draws the event back to us. Therefore, if we walk around feeling sorry for ourselves and like a victim, we are broadcasting that signature into the field, and we will continue to create experiences that reflect our negative outlook. We are not punished for our sins, but we are punished by our sins. Sin is an attitude that stems from how we think and feel. Therefore, when we can help people overcome their guilt, shame, and feelings of unworthiness, and teach them how to open their hearts and create coherent waves in their brain and heart, they will produce the miraculous. It takes training, practice, and learning new information, deprogramming ourselves from the limiting beliefs that hold us back. Living in a constant state of stress, we have no energy or field to create an effect on matter. Life is about energy management, and where we place our attention is where we place our energy. If we focus our attention on the knowns and predictable future or familiar emotions from the past, we are siphoning energy out of the present moment and have no energy to create with. However, when we practice focusing our attention on the present moment, we can begin to experience the unknown and wonderful aspects of life. What our research has shown is that there is a moment when we reach a coherent level of alpha, and suddenly we slip into theta. This shift into theta brings about an incredible change, and the body becomes profoundly relaxed. The energy centers, or the sympathetic nervous system, switch on, and we enter a state of heightened awareness. The key to mastering this quantum model of reality is practice. By training ourselves to sustain an elevated emotional state, we can produce a more significant effect on matter. We can learn to manage our energy, focus our attention on the present moment, and create unknown and wonderful experiences in our lives. It takes effort, but the reward is worth it. Have you ever experienced a moment when you felt like everything was in balance? Not the kind of balance that comes from fleeing from danger or experiencing intense pleasure, but a balance that feels natural and effortless. This kind of balance is what happens when your sympathetic nervous system switches on in tandem with your parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system helps to settle the body down, while the sympathetic nervous system activates it. When both systems are in balance, the energy from the sympathetic nervous system travels up the central nervous system, hitting the brainstem and turning on the thalamic gate and the reticular activating system. This sudden surge of energy is like a train station for neurons, and it hits the neocortex, producing gamma brainwave patterns, which are superconscious patterns. The inner world becomes the real world, and the experience is so profound energetically that you never forget the moment. This is when you can rewrite your program. You become super aware, and your brain produces gamma brain waves, which are associated with states of high awareness, insight, and creativity. We witnessed this in a woman who was meditating, and as she went deeper into her meditation, her brain produced alpha and theta waves. Suddenly, she shifted into gamma waves, and her brain became full of energy. She experienced a state of catharsis, and we could see all the redness in her brain. It was like she had turned on a dimmer switch from 20 watts to 100 watts. This surge of energy releases the subconscious, and the thalamic gate is open, allowing energy to flow to the thinking brain. It's like having an orgasm in your head, but it's not chemical, it's electromagnetic. When this happens, melatonin changes, and it starts turning into neurotransmitters. One of these neurotransmitters is one of the strongest antioxidants known to man, which helps to fight against aging, cancer, heart disease, microbes, and neurodegenerative diseases. If you take melatonin and change it again, it creates a phospholumescent chemical, which is found in the electric eel. Neurons become filled with energy and glow with color and patterns during this experience. If you switch this molecule again, it turns into the chemical found in mammals that hibernate. The human body is an incredibly complex and fascinating machine, with its various hormones and chemicals controlling everything from our appetites to our sex drive. However, there are times when we might feel as though our body is in a state of stasis, with no driving forces or impulses pushing us forward. In these moments, we might find ourselves dreaming and imagining a future without the constraints of our physical selves. But what if we could tap into the power of these chemicals and use them to unlock a new level of consciousness? This is where the concept of the God molecule comes in. By manipulating certain chemicals in our brain, we can experience powerful hallucinations and enter into an inner world that feels just as real as the physical one around us. This is what some might call a vision quest, or a lucid experience, and it has been talked about in various mystical traditions throughout history. The experience is often profound and life-changing, as it allows us to transcend our physical limitations and enter into a new realm of existence. Of course, getting to this point takes some work. It requires a shift in consciousness that can only be brought about by changing the neurotransmitters in our brain. But once this shift occurs, the results can be truly amazing. We might find ourselves experiencing a sense of oneness with the universe or feeling a deep sense of love that we've never felt before. So how can we achieve this state without resorting to drugs or other substances? One way is through meditation. By sitting up for an extended period of time and then lying down, we can tap into the unique balance of neurotransmitters that exists early in the morning. This can trigger a light show in our minds, leading to a profound sense of connection and awareness. Of course, this is not something that can be demystified entirely. There is still a sense of awe and wonder that comes with tapping into the inner workings of our minds. But by understanding the science behind these experiences, we can help more people achieve them and benefit from the profound changes that come with them. Ultimately, this is about creating transformation. By teaching people how to achieve these states of consciousness, we can help them lead more fulfilling lives and tap into the true power of their minds. So let's embrace the mysteries of the human brain and unlock its full potential for a brighter future. In fifth dimensional creation, you combine a clear intention, a coherent thought, coherent brainwave pattern with a coherent heart, moving into that elevated emotion. Thoughts are electric and feelings are magnetic. The magnetism of this center becomes the energy. The intention is carried on that energy, and now you are broadcasting a new signature into the quantum field. When there's a vibrational match between your energy and that potential that exists in the quantum field, you are actually collapsing space and time, and you are drawing the experience to you. You become the vortex that's drawing the experience to you. You don't have to go anywhere and get it. The new job finds you. The new house finds you. The new relationship finds you. Getting to this state requires a lot of work, and my definition of creation is when I forget about me. I become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, and no time. I become pure consciousness. The moment I reach that elegant moment of the generous present moment, all possibilities in the quantum field exist truly when our brain and body are in the present moment. As we embark on a journey of self-discovery, we often find ourselves struggling to focus our attention on the present moment. We become fixated on external objects, particles, and matter, leaving little room for introspection and self-reflection. However, if we can learn to shift our attention away from these distractions and towards the energy and space around us, we may be surprised by the positive impact it can have on our brainwaves. When we begin to open our focus and sense energy, our brainwaves shift from beta to alpha. These coherent brainwave patterns not only make the imaginary inner world more real, but also provide numerous health benefits. Research has shown that people who regularly experience alpha brainwaves have lower levels of stress, anxiety, and depression, as well as improved cognitive function. On the other hand, when we are under stress and trying to control everything around us, our brainwaves become incoherent. This is because each object, person, or experience has a neurological network in the brain assigned to it. As we shift our attention from one thing to the next, our brain becomes scattered and disorganized. This lack of coherency can lead to feelings of confusion, overwhelm, and burnout. To promote coherency in our brain, we need to learn how to focus our attention on nothingness. This may sound counterintuitive, but it is the key to unlocking our full potential. By allowing our brain to acclimate and different compartments of the brain to synchronize, we can create new neural pathways that will enable us to become more coherent. When we are comfortable in the unknown, we can create something new. This is the perfect place to create from, as it allows us to tap into our creativity and intuition. It is also the place where we can let go of our old selves and begin the process of developing a new self. This process can be challenging, and we may feel like we are experiencing a dark night of the soul. This unfamiliar place is where the true value lies, as it is the catalyst for the biological, neurological, genetic, and chemical death of our old selves. It is only by letting go of our old selves that we can make room for the new. As we begin to imagine and rehearse a new way of being, we are changing our brain and body neurologically and biologically. This is the neuroscientific model of mental rehearsal. By reminding ourselves of who we no longer want to be and who we do want to be, we can silence the circuits in our brain that are connected to the old self and begin to wire new circuits that will install the neurological hardware for our new self. The most important question we can ask ourselves as we embark on this journey of self-discovery is what thoughts we want to think and what behaviors we want to plan. By visualizing our new selves and actively working towards our goals, we can create a bright and fulfilling future for ourselves.